说中文。ChinesePod, ChinesePod, ChinesePod. That's the way to learn Chinese. ChinesePod, ChinesePod, ChinesePod. That's the way to learn Chinese.
Hi, and welcome to ChinesePod. We have another intermediate lesson today. I'm John.
大家好，我是 Jenny。
Jenny, it's zombies today, right?
又来了。
Yeah, it's not the first time we've done zombies, but it's the first time at the intermediate level.
因为 John 很喜欢僵尸。
Zombies are important. All right, what was that word again?
僵尸，僵尸。
Okay, two first tones. Now, literally, if you break it down character by character, it means stiff corpse, right?
他们是很 stiff， 很僵。
But they're no ordinary corpse.
对，
They are undead.
没错，
All right, so let's get into the dialogue and find out what's going on.
很吓人。什么声音？
没有声音，
有。嘘，你听，
是风的声音，你别自己吓自己。
这里又冷又黑，我怕。
别说废话，快走吧。
师傅，我觉得这儿有鬼。
瞎说！哎，你别拉我，
我没拉你。
你真的没拉我？
鬼！
我不是鬼，我是僵尸。
求求你，别吃我！
我不吃你。
师傅，师傅！
别怕，让我来收拾他。
僵尸道长，我要杀死你！
All right, so we hope you didn't have too much trouble with that dialogue. It's not extremely demanding, but there are a few things worth looking at.
对，一开始的时候呢，就比较吓人哦。我们听到奇怪的声音。
Okay, you hear a strange noise, and then what does the person say?
什么声音？什么声音？
Okay, yeah, this might not be the most natural way for you to form this sentence if you're not used to it. There's not even a verb there, right?
对啊，你只是问什么声音？
Yeah, what noise? So we translate that in English as what's that sound? What's that noise?
对，
But in Chinese, the most sudden way to ask, when you're afraid, is just.
什么声音？什么声音？
Okay, so then this person also asked the guy to be quiet, right?
没错，他说嘘，嘘。
Okay, so this shh, we have the same thing in English, but in Chinese, there's a character for it.
对，
It's XU if you look it up in the dictionary. But when you actually say it,
你不说嘘，你说嘘，嘘，只是一个声音，一个 sound。
yeah, in Chinese, they actually make the X sound instead of the SH sound we make, but it sounds pretty much the same. So that's not a character you really need to write much, but there actually is a character for it.
对，然后要注意，不要说嘘，而是说嘘
Okay,
，like a half whistle。
a half whistle. All right, the X sound in Mandarin. All right, so then what's the response to that, 你听?
后来师傅跟他说，别怕，别自己吓自己，别自己吓自己。
All right, so don't yourself scare yourself.
对，
这个自己, so why does that repeat? Like, is that really necessary? Can't you just say, 你别吓自己?
你也可以说你别吓自己，但是这里我们要强调，没有什么好害怕的，这都是你自己在吓你自己。
Okay, so you're emphasizing that there's nothing really to be afraid of. It's all caused by yourself.
对，
You scaring yourself.
自己吓自己。那我们平常也常听到，你别自己骗自己，
So don't deceive yourself.
自己骗自己，或者你不要老自己夸自己，
So don't always praise yourself.
自己夸自己。
Okay, so that's pretty useful for emphasizing that you're doing it to yourself.
是的。
All right, so what comes next?
但是她还是很怕啊，这个女孩。她说这里又冷又黑，又冷又黑。
So we have a grammar pattern here. This yo, adjective, yo, different
对。
adjective. So these two adjectives are
冷 和黑。
All right, so cold and dark. So it's both cold and dark.
对，那又什么又什么，我们都是在形容差不多的两个东西。
Okay, so they're similar. So can you give us some other examples of when you might use this yo pattern?
比如说 John， 可能会有很多人说，哇，你又高又瘦，又高又瘦。
Both tall and thin.
对。
But now that I'm married, I'm getting less and less thin.
All
right, some other examples?
还有这样东西真不错，又好又便宜，又好又便宜。
You sound like you're selling something.
对。
Yeah, that's a common one. All right, great. So moving along.
后来呢，我们听到师傅说，你别拉我，你别拉我。
Yeah, this one seems quite simple, but I think it's worth talking about. This la, the verb la.
我和 John 刚刚想了好久，这个拉到底是什么意思？
Yeah, so la first tone, it means to pull.
对，就是大家常常看到门上面会写拉。
Yeah, this is probably the most common way to see the character if you're walking around China. You open the door by pulling it. So that's one type of la.
对，可是这里你是拉一个人。
Yeah, so you wouldn't say pull a person. That sounds strange, right? But if you're like tugging at them, like tugging at their sleeve.
没错，这里的拉呢，就是拉他的衣服。
Right, so if you can imagine like a little kid tugging at his mother's skirt.
对，拉妈妈的裙子，拉妈妈的衣服。
Right, but it's not that narrow, right? You could also, if someone grabs someone else's arm.
对，比如就让我拉你的手，拉住你的手或者你的手臂。
Right, so grab their arm to hold them back is also possibly la. But in this context, what do you think exactly it means?
我觉得是有人拉师傅的衣服。
Like tugging at his sleeve, probably.
对，就比较 subtle， 比较小的动作。
Okay.
那么是谁在拉他的衣服呢？
Actually, it's...
僵尸，僵尸。
Okay, so the zombie appears. And the apprentice, or whoever this girl is...
The Apprentice, Donald Trump.
Not that kind of apprentice. She starts begging the zombie, right?
对，他很害怕，他说：“求求你别吃我，求求你。”
Okay, so this 求求你. So 求, second tone.
求就是你 beg 别人。
So 求 means to beg. You often see it repeated like this. 求求你.
没错，
All right, so this means I'm begging you, right?
对，
So is this like in English where you wouldn't actually use this very much?
在中文里面啊，可能女孩常常会用，就是撒娇，她想让你帮她，然后想让你做一件她想要的事情，会说：“求求你了，给我买一个钻戒。”
Okay, so the girl is playing her, girly card, trying to get what she wants.
对对对，
She does this, so I'm begging you. It's true, I hear it quite a bit.
哦，是吗？
I won't say
求求
who,
你
but yeah, I've heard it quite a bit, especially girls. So would guys ever use this 求求你?
哦，也可以用，但是通常都是在，比如别人要杀你，就是真的很严重的情况底下。
So a man, if he's begging for his life, would say 求求你.
没错，
All right, or possibly if he's joking, right?
对对对，也可以，求求你。
All right, once you learn this, you'll actually hear it a lot. And it's fun to use if you want to throw it in.
对，那后来呢？这个僵尸他不想吃女孩，对吧？他不想吃女孩，但是今天我们有一个僵尸道长，他要来收拾他，收拾。
All right, so let's look at this verb, 收拾. So that's first tone and neutral tone, right?
对，收拾。那通常呢，我们都是听到，比如你房间很乱，你要去收拾一下房间。
Okay, so it means to tidy up your room in that context.
对，
To put things in order, right?
是。
收拾, all right? Or maybe like your desk or...
桌子没错，收拾一下。
So that's like the normal physical meaning.
对
But here it's more of an abstract meaning.
对啊，今天师傅说让我来收拾他，这里呢他说的是我要来收拾僵尸。
And you hear the sword being pulled out, right?
对啊
So it's like, I'll put him in order. Like,
没错。
I'll take care of him.
是的，所以收拾呢也能够作为这样的一种比喻。
Okay, so it's like a metaphor. A metaphorical usage anyway.
对，我要把你 put in order。
Effectively, it's a threat.
对，要收拾你。那僵尸也很厉害啊，他说僵尸道长说的就是这个师傅，我要杀死你，我要杀死你。
Okay, so we know the verb 杀 first tone, that means to kill.
对，
So we add this 死 It's to kill dead.
你很有决心，很 determined。
Yeah, what's the difference between kill you and kill you dead?
那我要杀你，就是说我不一定能把你杀死，我要杀死你，就是我的目的，我的目标，不仅要杀你，而且让你死。
Seems like a fine point, but it's emphasis, right?
对，
I'm going to
对。
kill you, and I'm going to make sure you're dead when I'm done.
没错，
All right, so 杀死你。
对。哎呀，僵尸很厉害啊。
All right, so Jenny, I could understand if you're killing a zombie, you really want to make sure they're dead. But who's saying this to who?
哦，今天是僵尸要杀死僵尸道长。
Okay, so the zombie's just going to make sure that the zombie slayer is totally dead.
对，
All right, but it could go the other way as well.
没错。
All right, let's listen again, and then we'll talk a little bit more about this zombie thing.
好，
Welcome back to another installment of ChinesePod Trivia. And the question for you is, for what test does ChinesePod offer preparation services for? Is it A, the polygraph, B, the colonoscopy, C, the HSK test, or D, the CAT scan?
The CAT scan?
Ooh, sorry, that is incorrect. The correct answer is C, the HSK test. That's right, ChinesePod will thoroughly prepare you to pass this rigorous test of proficiency in Chinese. ChinesePod.com/HSK.
什么声音？
没有声音。
有。嘘，你听，
是风的声音，你别自己吓自己。
这里又冷又黑，我怕。
别说废话，快走吧。
师傅，我觉得这儿有鬼。
瞎说！哎，你别拉我，
我没拉你。
你真的没拉我？
鬼！
我不是鬼，我是僵尸。
求求你，别吃我！
我不吃你。
师傅，师傅！
别怕，让我来收拾他。
僵尸道长，我要杀死你！
All right, so Jenny, the zombie slayer, as we translate his name in our transcript of the lesson. What is his Chinese name again?
僵尸道长，僵尸道长。
Okay, so zombie, what is this 道长 thing?
道呢就是道士，就是宗教道教。
All right, so like a Taoist priest.
嗯，
So this guy's a priest.
对，他是一个道教的道长，然后他可以 cast spell， 就是他有能力去杀死僵尸。
Okay, so traditionally it's these Taoist monks or Taoist priests that have the power to, use magic that destroys the zombies.
对，那说到这些啊，我们就要讲讲中国的僵尸文化。
Okay, so what is the deal with zombie culture in China?
哎，你告诉我吧，因为你说这个很有用。
Yeah, I find over the years this topic of zombies comes up again and again. You know, there's a Hong Kong zombie movie tradition.
就叫僵尸道长，最有名的一个香港电
All
影。
right, so this is actually the name of a very famous movie.
对，
And you see them on TV a lot. And there's also some cultural differences. For example, Chinese zombies don't eat brains.
对他们就是吸人的气。
So they eat or they absorb people's qi.
对，
They're not after the brains.
是的，
So they don't eat people at all, is that right?
不是那样，吃，他们就把你的气吸走。
So they might bite you, but they're really after your qi, not your brains or your blood.
对的，
Okay, so you'll be surprised. The longer you study Chinese and talk to Chinese people, you'll be surprised that zombies do come up.
其实我觉得就有点像，如果你要学习英美文化，那么《星球大战》（Star Wars） 是一
Yeah.
个你一定要知道的东西。
Yeah, that's not on the typical English teacher's curriculum, but it's true. Star Wars references are everywhere, in especially American culture.
哈哈，你们有 Star Wars， 我们有 Zombies。
All right, anyway, it doesn't hurt you to know this stuff. If you have any questions or comments, especially about zombie culture, because there's a lot more to it, come to ChinesePod.com. Leave us your comments or your questions.
对，这样很专业的。
哪里。
好，我们在 ChinesePod.com 上见。
再见。
As usual, ChinesePod provides an extensive selection of learning materials for this lesson on its website, www.chinesepod.com. You can access this lesson directly with the lesson number
1151.
So just go to www.chinesepod.com/1151 and you will find a transcript, vocabulary, and much more. The link again, www.chinesepod.com/1151.